Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Nineg. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about the Marx Brothers, more specifically about their 1931 film called Monkey Business. Now, I've talked briefly about Monkey Business before, but I wanted to get a little more in-depth into the movie. So if you're a fan of the Marx Brothers, Three Stooges, I Love Lucy, and so many classic TV shows and movies, Nineg is the channel for you with over 1,900 videos. There is so much for you to enjoy. And people ask me, Rick, how can I support your channel? Well, if you like, comment, and subscribe, it's free and it helps the channel so much. Essentially, that lets YouTube know that you want me to keep making videos. So I do appreciate your constant feedback. So let's continue about Monkey Business. This is a really, really funny film. In fact, it's one of my favorites that the Marx Brothers put out. What happens in this film? Now, the Marx Brothers are on board an ocean liner and it's headed to America. Now, unfortunately, the four of them are stowaways and they're pressed into service as tough guys, even bodyguards, for a pair of feuding gangsters while constantly trying to evade the ship's crew. Now, before this, the film has no real plot. It's just Marx Brothers shenanigans, which, in my opinion, that's what we like. But the brothers just cause an uproar and chaos throughout the ship, and it is so much fun to watch it. After all this happens, one of the gangsters kidnaps the other's daughter, leaving it up to the brothers to save the day. Isn't that crazy how they end up saving the day, even though they cause an uproar on the ship? Now, there are many wonderful scenes in this film. The way I like to think about the Marx Brothers is there's just pivotal, really great, strong scenes, and they're all tied together like with a string to make a movie, which may or may not make sense. Essentially, think about 10 to 15 vaudeville skits strung together with a little bit of dialogue and a little bit of chaos. Now, what's interesting is how it starts. I want to focus on that. The film starts with, essentially, we're in the luggage compartment, or where they keep all of the inventory, a lot of the luggage, a lot of the barrels and so forth, maybe even food. And you hear men singing the very popular song at the time, Sweet Adeline. And I mean, the fact that they're harmonizing and the four of them are in the barrels, separate barrels that is, while still singing, is pretty comical. And we learn that the Marx Brothers are stowaways. They're not really supposed to be on the ship. And you may not know that while this is how the film began, there was a very clever idea in how they wanted the film to end. In fact, there was a secret ending that they wanted to put into this film. Now, the scene that we're familiar with that actually ends up in the movie that we all know is where the brothers go to a barn, and just imagine there's hay, there's animals and everything, and a fight ensues essentially, and they're able to free the woman. And then, of course, the Marx Brothers always end with some shenanigans, and you see Harpo and Groucho with a pitchfork kind of going through a pile of hay, and a man asks, "Hey, what are you doing?" And they respond, "Looking for a needle in a haystack." Boom, fade to black. While that is not the worst ending, I think it's a fairly good ending. But I think there was a better one, and unfortunately it was cut from the film. I don't know why it was cut. Obviously someone thought it wasn't up to par or it wasn't as good as this one, but I think this is a better ending. Let me tell you about it. Now, it would have included Groucho, Harpo, and Chico once again inside barrels, and they would be singing as they do in the beginning of the film. So it's cool because that would mean that the film kind of loops back together, and I love films like that. I'm not saying that every film has to end like in a loop, or like how it ends is how it begins, but I think that would have been clever for this because they're silly, and the fact that they go back into the barrels is almost like that's their origin and that's where they're gonna go back to, so it would have been great. Now, as they are in these barrels, there is a panning out. Now remember, in the original film, or that is in the film that we know in the beginning, they're on this luxury liner, but here they would be on a private yacht. In fact, Joe Helton's private yacht. And I think that is also genius because it's kind of a juxtaposition to the ocean liner. Now they're in a private yacht. So it's kind of like an upgrade, but they're still in their silly barrels, which makes sense. And then you in fact see Zeppo Marx and Mary Helton kiss nearby, which, I mean, what period piece or what film going back to the 30s doesn't end with a kiss? Like, it would have been perfect. I think that would have been a great ending. Although this is a good ending too. The one that we had in the film, Needle in the Haystack, because it ends silly. I think this would have been great because it's like perfect Marx Brothers. Guy gets the girl. The end, right? This same thing, but it's, I don't know. I think it's not as rewarding. So I want to know your thoughts. Have you seen this film, Monkey Business? Do you have a favorite scene? And what do you think about this alternate ending, which was cut, which I think should have been the original and the real finish for this film? Your thoughts down below are well appreciated, and I love to look through them. I do appreciate your support as always, and don't forget, everyone, to stay positive and be hopeful. Thank you so much to my platinum and diamond tier patrons, especially David D, Jerry D, Daniel B, Citizen Kane 359, Vito L, Sally N, Russ C, and Beatrice R. If you want to be on this list, make sure to check the links in the description. It's a great way to support the channel. Thank you.